Hello BookTube, today I'm going to do a really mini wrap-up review of books that I've been reading recently. Due to the fact that I haven't been reading many books recently, there's 3 books on my list. One of them I've finished and I can talk to you about and I can do a review of, but I've read it so choppily and chunkily. I feel really bad about doing a proper full review because my feelings that I've got, I feel I either haven't understood properly because of my choppy reading, or I just haven't received the full kind of experience of the book, but also I really still did enjoy it and I still had my problems with it, so I thought it'd be really good to talk about, especially because I haven't seen it talked about much yet. And the next one is a book that I just DNF'd. I couldn't read it. All the reviews that I've watched have said that halfway through it gets better, but the first half is just kind of just description and just chatting, and I just really didn't enjoy it, which is such a shame. As you'll see when I talk about it, it's spoiler. I hope I'm building up the tension here for no reason at all, but thanks for sticking with me. And the third book I'm going to talk about is one that I'm currently reading and I'm going to finish, and I'm going to make a few predictions about where it's going. I hope they're right, because I have 2 paths of this book of where it could go, and one of them I really want to happen. I don't know if it's going to. I'll be happy if it doesn't also, but I really want this one thing to happen. So that's my little teaser. Now we're going to go straight into it. The first book that I did finish, that I'm not sure how to talk about, but I still am, is The Last Dog on Earth by Adrian J. Walker. Post-apocalyptic London, Reg lives on his own. A strange character to begin with. You're thinking, why isn't Reg acting right? And then you think, it's a post-apocalyptic world. This guy probably has PTSD. I think that's made pretty clear. But the thing that is made really clear is that he has the phobia of when you can't be touched. I forgot what that's called. It says it in here once, but towards the end. What I really enjoyed about this book was that from the start to about the middle, none of the kind of issues that Reg is dealing with are made perfectly obvious, and it's hinted that he's dealing with these things, but it's not actually said, Reg has this and you cope with it this way. It's just there. So it makes it quite uncomfortable to read, because the plot line is that a child who's persecuted by this government is being chased, and she's outside knocking on his door, but because of his fear, his phobia, he's not letting her in. And it's like, oh, Reg, you're so frustrating, but also you're a real person. And it's also annoying to read, but then also really rewarding as you get to know Reg a bit more, and he just feels so real. And also you just feel so much sympathy, but not sympathy for him. It's complex. It's complex. And then obviously you're seeing the dual narration through Lineker, because yes, you guessed it, this is a dog narration book, well, which is why Laura bought it me for Christmas, so thank you, it was great. Lineker the dog is a little scruffy mongrel, medium-sized, awesome dog who's very sweary. If you have a fear or basically just trigger warning for swearing that is consistent and unapologetic and disgusting, it is so powerful. I was a bit like, oh my god, that was unnecessary, but it was funny. It's a dog swearing really badly. I found it quite hilarious in lots of places, but he does think he's some sort of philosopher. He goes on and on and on, and all of the deep speeches and all of the meaningful bits are all kind of in Lineker's perspective. It was one of my least favourite dog narration books that I've read, but that's because the heartbreak only came right at the end when all of the twists and all the reveals are made and all of the sadness happens. Throughout it's just kind of a depressing post-apocalyptic slog through London, which sounds just awful, and it is awful to read about, which is where I kind of dipped. I have this thing at the minute where I love the start, the first 50 pages, and I love the end, the last kind of 150 pages, but the middle is just not cutting it for me. So I'm looking for a book that has a really good middle as well as start and end. The next book is the one that I'm really disappointed that I didn't like and that I DNF'd, because again, I read the first 50 pages and was like, this is alright. And then I reached like the 70 page, 100 page mark, and I just couldn't go on because there's no plot. I did not care about the characters and they got on my nerves. And I feel so terrible saying this because it's the Prince winner for 2017, 18? The latest Prince Award winner, Nina Lacour with We Are Okay. Marion herself was just moany and mopey and tragically on her own looking out the window at Christmas while everyone else has gone away. And I think what else I loved was the American setting, because I usually love the American university setting, but I think when everyone's taken out of it and it was made just to look like an empty shell parody of what it is in my head, I just didn't enjoy it. And there's been a criticism of Nina Lacour's writing that her plot doesn't exist and it's all about emotion and character, which I think is a brilliant way to write books, and I do usually enjoy that, and it wouldn't put me off from having to go at another one of her books. But I just wasn't a fan of Marion as a person, and because we only really get to see Marion and Mabel ever, along with flashbacks, which only have another one character in who I do really like, but Marion, I just didn't get on with her, so I've DNF'd it. And the last book, which I'm so enjoying, I'm about over halfway through, and that is Some Kind of Wonderful by Giovanna Fletcher. I'm reading this book on a recommendation from one of my friends, Georgina, who loves Giovanna Fletcher's books, and this is one of her newest ones. And so thank you for recommending it to me because I am really enjoying it. I took a massive gap in the book when the disaster happened because I was just like, oh, it's so sad. And then I just picked up We Are Okay and then The Last Dog on Earth, and I just put it down for some reason, and then I picked it back up, got straight back into it, which is a sign that it is amazing and it's just for me. And it may come across as like a fluffy light read that you just don't really want to read because it's like new adult, cheesy. She's in her late 20s, is Lizzie, and it just seems really like superficial on the outside, but then when you're reading it, it's about finding who you are, finding yourself, staying true to yourself, and there's such a deeper, amazing meaning. It feels so empowering to read. Like, I'm loving to read it because it's making me smile and just think about myself and like the other women that I love and how they're great. And it's just a really, really great book to think about those sorts of things. But those are the books that I've been reading. Let me know what you've been reading, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!